All right. So we got this recorded. So we're going to get going. So there's Anthony. Anthony James Cara. What's up, buddy? So we wanted to discuss just a couple things. I really didn't want to talk too much to you guys tonight. I would rather have you guys ask some questions and we can just kind of go back and forth with some potential ideas. The number one question I get from a lot of guys doing the business is, how do I scale my business to be where it's not just me driving around, me posting all day, me doing all these different things to grow my business. And really, if you're doing just that, I mean, I'm sure you're making a great income doing it, but you just gave yourself another job. So for those that are serious, you definitely want to start scaling and start leveraging and outsourcing whatever tasks that you possibly can. So the first thing that I would definitely outsource is pickups. And kind of a tricky thing because there's lots of little, what can I say, like nuances to the job. You got to make sure that seals are good, make sure the expiration dates are good. But I read this book. Has anybody read the book by Peter Voogd, 6 Months to Six Figures? Yes? No? And he says in the book, if you can hire someone to do something as 80% as good as you can, it's time to outsource. And obviously something like pickups is very time consuming and it takes up a lot of your time. It wasn't until just a few months ago that I finally found, I've gone through a few couriers, and I finally found one that actually was willing to like pay cash to like different types of people that are maybe questionable characters and different walks of life, and that are comfortable handling $1,000 at a time, or willing to go into not the best neighborhoods. So I've assembled I'm going to upload to the file section a list that I ask potential interview, like people some questions that I would ask people. One of them is, are you comfortable, handling large amounts of cash and giving it to the general public? Obviously, majority of the people would say yes, but a lot of people aren't willing to go into maybe the more questionable parts of. I live in Chicago, so there's some questionable parts to the city. So definitely having someone that's, I would say, like street smart, is probably a quality that you're looking at to hire. And I'm going to upload some questions to the file section here once we're off, of questions that I would hire. Andrew just asked me a question. Do I have the YouTube link for the Google Hangout? I don't, buddy. I would definitely, I'm going to upload that just so, that's the number one thing I would definitely recommend. I promise you, if you're out doing pickups, you're definitely going to get burned out, especially if you're doing some nice volume. I've got some, I know some of you guys are doing, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 every single week, and doing pickups. If you got another business, real estate, I know a lot of you guys are doing real estate. You're gonna get burnt out because you're just driving around hours and hours and hours on end, and it's something that I would gladly outsource. And so a lot of people ask me, how much, like, what's the typical rate that you pay your courier? That's a great question. And I personally pay my courier $20 a pickup. Now, some people think like, man, that's taking a lot of profit margin out. That's taking, if I'm buying one box of One Touch 50 and I'm paying $20 for the pickup and I'm paying $20 for the buy, that's $40. That's eating into my profits. It's not worth it for me. But I would challenge you to change your mind where, yes, you're paying him the $20 for the one pickup, but you're also paying him for the 3-box pickup, the 4-box pickup, the 5-box pickup, the ones where you're making several hundred bucks. So it kind of, at the end of the day, evens out a little bit. So definitely, and that's up to you. It's your business. I know some guys paying $10 to $15 per pickup, and you got a good loyal guy that's happy with that pay. It really depends on the type of structure that you want to, how much you want to pay someone. I value my time. I got a ton of other stuff that I want to do. I would rather grow the wholesale side than trying to drive around the city. So I picked up about, my courier picked up about 40 boxes. We did about 10 to 12 pickups, I think, today, and I made a couple grand. So if you're asking me, let's say I paid my courier $200 for the day, and I made $1,500 sitting at home talking to you guys or doing other things or making purchases on the wholesale side. I would definitely pay someone $200 to make, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000. So definitely recommend that. It all depends on how you want to structure your business as far as the pay. Some guys pay per hour, some guys pay per pickup. That's a question that you guys would answer. I'm letting you know what I do and what works for me, and someone who would rather be at home with my daughter, with your children, with your family, as opposed to driving around the city. But I would definitely recommend you outsource once you have enough work to justify it. So if you're doing about 5, 6, 7 pickups, I'd say a minimum of 5. I would definitely try and outsource at that time. If you're not doing pickups on a consistent daily basis, why not? Why aren't you increasing your marketing? What can you do to increase your pickups? So that's just another topic that we can discuss. So that's the first thing, couriers, and how much you pay your couriers. And I can discuss another topic, but I can open up the floor for any questions that you might have. Does anybody have anything feels like it's blocking their growth, stunning their growth in the test strip business? Anybody? If not, we can go on to marketing. I'm hearing these noises, but I'm not seeing any. Is there like chats going on? Okay.
I was hoping we could talk about bandit signs.
Who was that? Steve? As far as bandit signs go, it really depends on your municipality. I would, in Chicago, the municipality isn't really sticklers for bandit signs, so I can place them on the streets. But if you're worried about code enforcement, I would just place them in parking lots where it's not necessarily you're violating a code, but rather, I guess, littering. And actually, what's funny is I received a call from an officer. This was the one call I received about one of my signs, and he told me, why don't you just put them in the parking lots, because that's private property. And I just figured, all right. So if you want to avoid code enforcement, I would just put the signs just in private, just in the parking lots where it's not necessarily owned by your municipality. So as far as where I place the signs, I do them in every Walgreens, CVS, buffet, wherever people are. It's really, diabetes is so rampant in our society that, I think everybody knows someone that's diabetic. And so I would definitely just do the parking lots anywhere where there's people. And I put out about anywhere from 8. I'm trying to set a goal for my guys, anywhere from 800 to 1,000 signs. I'm trying to double it month over month. Let's see what Steve. Specifically to bandit signs, new endeavor. Great to hit a demographic that is not on social media. Is that a requirement that you get for pics from your bandit sign marketing? Yes, so Steve asked, do you require pics for your bandit signs? Some people do. I don't personally, but I have the girl who answers my phone. She does make sure that they're the right box. Yes, there have been times where the seal was open, where the expiration date expired. Actually, my guy just picked up a couple boxes. He didn't pick them up; he caught it, but he picked up a couple boxes that were like 2013 expiration date, and it looks exactly the same. It was a Freestyle Light mail order box, and he picked it up exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. He picked it up just yesterday. He was kind of pissed because he drove like 45 minutes, and to pick up two expired strips was pretty frustrating for him. As far as that goes, like when my when I have a deal that goes down that doesn't go as planned, I absolutely still pay my courier for his time. An old lady called. Oh, she said 200 boxes. Wow. Another thing with bandits signs is that my dispatcher usually asks where do they heard about us. So if they heard about us from the newspaper, or if they heard about us from the bandit sign, we usually start at a lower price point. But if we know that they heard about us from social media like Facebook or Craigslist, we tend to offer a little bit more because there's more competition in that space, as opposed to someone that's just walking off the street with a that saw your cash for test strip sign, and they just have some boxes that they want to sell. So those are definitely some of my cheapest buys off bandit signs. Here's an app I use. Some of you guys who do in real estate might be familiar with this. Are you guys familiar with any of you guys use Simple Crew?
Yep.
Yeah. So I use it for DTS, and so I just gave my girl, I gave her 200 signs, and yesterday, I'm going to share the screen with you here. Well, that's kind of freaky to look at.
Whoa.
And so, are you guys able to see this? So, I'm seeing where all the signs she's putting out, and at what time she placed them. And so I'm also seeing where she placed them. So I prefer not to have like an area that's congested. Like sometimes my guys put out like signs block over block, like 1 block, drive down, 1 block, drive down, 1 block, drive down, and we don't want that. We want to spread out. I usually tell them, like in Walmarts and the bigger places where you have more people, place 2 or 3 signs as opposed to just 1. But smaller parking lots like Walgreens, just put 1. It's really about where people are at, not necessarily like you can do blanket marketing in this just because, like I said, diabetes is just so rampant in our society today, unfortunately. And so this is a picture of all their signs. It costs $50. Excuse me. It costs $50 a month to use it, but I find value in it just because it shows me exactly where they're doing it, and what time they're doing it, and whether or not they're doing their job. So she did 50. Let me see. She did 56 just yesterday. So that's kind of nice. You want a hustler. I would definitely set goals when it comes to bandit signs, when it comes to your guys that you're hiring. I would make sure that you're very clear about what your expectations are and what you want from your bandit sign placers. So that leads me to my next point. How much do you pay your